in the mid-60s, but it's her ability to use three pitches so dominantly well. Curve, drop, rise. She's going to ladder those up and down on both sides of the plate.
I'm glad you brought that up about her strikeout to walk ratio. Hard hits and blooped into right field for Megan Ricks. Back-to-back games where she has led off the contest with a single.
But you have to have that mindset going in.
Bunt is laid down. The throw over to first and the sacrifice successful.
And after we saw Trenton do damage on the mound, she slides over to first base and is going to take.
But they came out strong in the first inning in game one, netted 2 runs, and it felt like this is the Penn State team trying to respond after game one on Saturday held to just 2 hits by one player, Megan Ricks, and 1 run crossing the plate. But swinging aggressively here, that a ball with her teeth to get an out, she would do it. So that's what Jalen Adams has behind her.
He was trying to describe to us how gritty she was, and I love that that was the explanation.
Brooke Clausewitz, always dangerous at the plate. And here in this series, in fact, 0 for 6 against the Hawkeyes overall. And behind in the count against Adams.
Is her ability to hit both sides of the plate now. That's something where she was a bit exposed to last year in that outer half. You saw her even have a really good take right there on an 0-2 count. Her power zone now is to all sides of the field.
Just shy of leading both the Big Ten and the nation in doubles. She is also within reach of the all-time single-season program record for RBI. So another opportunity here with one teammate 60 feet away. 3rd all-time. Potentially in the conversation for an all-time program single-season record. She times up the off-speed. It's popped up. Still 0-0 here.
I called the game just a few weeks back when Indiana set the new Big Ten record with 15 walks. And it's just been a hitter's game, and these pitchers understand how much these hitters have been dominating. However, sometimes they try to be too careful against them.
Jenna Young gets a good piece of that, but it is right into the glove of added even more runs.
When you're giving up consistent free passes, do you think, what can I do to contribute? You're on an island in the circle when things aren't going the right way.
It's, of course, a Penn State team without last year's Big Ten freshman of the
landslide. 23 wins came from her in the circle. And anytime you have that, you have to switch your mentality so quickly, and this Penn State team has become a staff approach. And it's amazing how quickly, as a hitter, you can feel when a pitcher starts to nibble, and all of a sudden your zone shrinks even more, your bat stays on your shoulder.
Always brings pop in her bat at the plate. In any textbook, she still is able to just make it work and be productive.
And he doesn't touch it. And I think that's the best thing. He understands her strengths, just looks to help her add on to that. And I think that's something that some of the best add to the strengths, help the weaknesses. I'm not saying don't coach him, you absolutely have to, but also keep their foundation somewhat similar where they're comfortable.
Chomps this one on the ground. Charging forward is Michaela Barbonente, and Barry is safe. The second time today she is beat.
This is why I love our game. You have to be perfect here, that we see out of the box, putting your head down, not caring that you just rolled.
Had a sac fly in the first game. Here she pops it up, and the out is made. We are still scoreless despite a major. And then close. Midpoint of this out, Sydney, against a dangerous Washington team.
Right now, the Huskies are 9-6. It's a program who has shown tremendous growth over a season with bringing in double-digit new faces. Completely having to reload, big freshman class out of the portal. They didn't have a single pitcher on their roster from a year before, and they have just grown week by week, quickly gelling as a team.
Teams go to other competitions. I remember being at Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago, and the Wisconsin rowing team just happened to be in Oklahoma City. They come by Devon Park to show their support for the Badgers, So whether it's in state or out, it's love to see that, plus the family connection as well. Me too.
Can't miss that. It's sporting Iowa colors.
That's right. Home runs in a non-conference tournament weekend. Here gets a base hit, but she was the Big Ten co-player of the week.
Was able to pull this one across the plate. Somebody with just a ton of confidence. That's a ball outside that she's...
West Virginia. Live coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network.
That's one where you're really grateful you didn't release it, because that's the walk of shame to have to go pick it back up.
Here she swings on a full count, drills it deep into the outfield, and another home run. A 3-run shot by Jenna Young, and Iowa is rolling. That's just her second home run this season.
And she will take the rubber ducky and the home run chain, and should probably thank the umpire as well for not calling that pitch before. However, because they know they have the pitchers to do it, it's allowed the bat.
This one also going deep. Incredible catch by Jenna Nelson. At least her second today, tracking a ball in her direction.
Iowa's doing such a great job staying on their back leg, being able to have so much power. Hitting's contagious. 1-1 first.
Game 2, they jumped ahead early 3-0, ended up holding on 6-4 against their rivals. Barely lost to Michigan. It's chopped up the middle. Jenna Young takes care of it for out number 1.
They put up 60 home runs to make almost a 50-plus switch is unreal.
Swing into the outfield. The catch is made, and 2 away here for Jalen Adams.
For those who've been following it for years, not only do we have new teams, but we have new coaches at the helm of it, leading it. And you see that in Ohio State, and you see that right now with Iowa, too, in which Coach Golan's done these last few weeks.
Charging in is Jackson. It is a 1-2-3 inning for Jalen Adams. Keeping
at the plate. Sometimes you won't see her swing until late in the count, but when she does, she finds a way to be on time quickly. And that's so important. Volpe going, strikeout pitch, sending this rise ball, getting tail on it. Almost like Ducks were neck and neck with him to claim that number 1 spot. Lindsey Grine has now thrown north of 30 innings pitched against top 25 teams. Hasn't given up a single earned run.
The throw over to first. Avery Jackson hitting her first of the season. Jenna with 21 as a team. She has a 2-strike count against Haley Brunson, fielded over at first by Trenton, 1 down.
AP in the offensive category, and that's something that has just shined through. Coach Crowell said it's a credit to her confidence and how much it's grown.
She says Brooke came to her and said, reflect a little bit off themselves and their own behavior. But she is someone who holds others accountable, including herself. Here, softly tapped ground ball, fielded by Barry, and another 1-2-3 inning.
And it's going to help when you're throwing a rise ball that just has the late jump. At tunneling it 2/3 of the way there, so it feels like it's coming in on a level that's really hittable in that last second jump.
3 different players, a lot of great pitching we saw in game number 1. Then earlier today, a 10-2 run rule victory by the Hawkeyes.
So gritty, and they're going to fight tooth and nail until the very last pitch. And they strike me as somebody who has a lot of similarities to Penn State. Oh, yes, and when you said gas, that was the perfect explanation. Can reach speeds up to 70. Pulls the string on this one.
You can even 2-2 counts. Young taking her deep earlier in this game, but charging in for the catch is Natalie Lido to end any kind of threat.
And a great job on a rise ball in the hands. That's a quality pitch by Adams. Almost has the glove to be able to snag it. But once again, a little bit of a say both of our shoes, as she's been somebody who has been on the sidelines this fall. She had an NBC internship with football. And how many of these Penn State right now is applying for med schools? So it's so neat when you hear coaches talk about how proud they are of their athletes and what they're doing off the field as well.
Senior from Hoover, Alabama, Lydia Coleman at the plate to pinch hit. She is a pesky hitter, drills this down the left field line. Great piece of pinch hitting season overall.
Been so effective for the way she gets in the box and just is on time. Somebody who has so much back control. And just like that, if it's not working within your lineup, why not?
Especially with the way that she's been hitting. She's been solid in the opportunities. She's been
a little bit of life from Penn State.
George chopping it. A long throw for Jackson. And King Adams' work. George along the ground, scooped up, thrown over to first, is in time. Penn State will get on the board. It is a 2-run game. And Ricks gets a good swing.
Got back in the bullpen, went to work for this team, and she's somebody who's just going to look at the bottom half of the zone, throw a drop ball, every once in a while coming at the off speed, but just try to generate ground balls.
Talking about how to build staffs and bullpens of the future, the diversity of arms that you need, the depth that you need, maybe even looking situationally.
Because even the best are splitting games with how good the hitters are getting.
The plate. Hard hit ball. It's going to bounce right in front of Barbenente for out number 2.
The ball low, and you can tell these Iowa hitters are all hitting things that feels like off the end of their bat.
Tori Bennett at the plate.
You can only imagine how competitive I'm sure it was, but also how they just have each other to lean on in terms of the situations that they're going through.
The women who grow up with wrestler brothers are a different kind of athletes.
Amazing how much they just use that to elevate this other side of the game. They brought in the right transfers. They developed players who have been in the program these last few years, and the way that it shined for them is hats off to not only what Coach Crowell's doing, but the players as well. And as you mentioned, it's more of a credit to Iowa and how they've been able to calm down these incredibly hot bats. This is a Hawkeyes team that on this field has beat Nebraska. They beat UCLA, but the one thing they haven't shown is consistency. And if they could do it here, all the consistency in the world.
Jackson bats it down, makes the throw. It is a 1-2. 5K race and post-game tailgate party as well. But Suja Berry, 2 infield singles today. Trying to take this game 3. Yes, they have lost the series with Iowa taking the first 2. But this is a Penn State team with already a sense of urgency to make sure they make the Big Ten tournament. Top 12 teams make it.
But today hitting a really nice level when she's getting it called a strike.
Gunning for that sweep against the Gophers.
This is a Badger team that has felt really hot as of recent. And as you mentioned, the Gophers, that second from last, which is a spot we never see them in the Big Ten standings. Somebody who's won the Big Ten how many times?
The bunt is placed
in the tournament, but they have an opportunity to beat anybody in the tournament and possibly stir up even.
Their head coach, Magali Frizzotti, telling us earlier this season.
And for those teams as well, it was only within their last year at the Pac-12 that they had a softball tournament.
Because it's something players have only experienced for those new teams pretty recently. Hard hit ball, but the stop is made by Barbenente. She's not going to make the throw over to first. And Iowa offense.
Barbenente is doing a great job going up the middle, but Ricks has to pivot, go back to first base. It was almost the cutoff.
Ground ball up the middle. The throw over to third, safe. With Giselle Hernandez in the circle, under 30 innings under her belt this year. The Nittany Lions needed arms without their ace, Bridget Namath, to eat up 200-plus innings. Over at first base, pinch running is Arlette Caravaca. Popped up in the infield, Walters gives a look over to third. And
the fearless by Hernandez to go right after.
And the out is made. Swinging through is Young. The tag is made. And Hernandez thrust into B. Last year as a junior, but she says she has been the same person since day one. Her attitude, her work ethic never have been dictated by the circumstances and her playing time.
So far, they've only given up 3 earned runs.
Here, a fly out to start things off. 1 away. Her strikeout rate has just skyrocketed this season. Funny though, only 1 in this game. But you talked about it. If you're getting the weak contact, why not?
This is a drop ball that, watch it just fly off and spin from the tip of her fingers.
It's about her harnessing her skills with the way she has studied this sport. She watches as much film of herself as she does opponents. And it's fun to see that hard work pay off for these players, looking to close it out with a series sweep, and she does. And Jalen Adams secures a 20-win season, the first for a Hawkeye since 2009.
Hugs are well-deserved. As you can see them passed around by this Hawkeyes team, as the hometown hero and Jenna Young got her back going, but ultimately the pitching staff.
3-1 is the final. Iowa over Penn State.